I was 15 when I first had sex with a man. I was 16 with a woman. I identify as bisexual. Being bisexual means that you are attracted to both men and women. Virginity is becoming sexually active. Sex is an incredibly personal thing. It can have some penetrative sex, it can have all oral sex, it can have digital stimulation, it can have vibrators. Losing my virginity with a man and losing my virginity with a woman are two different experiences in my mind. I had this losing my virginity moment in my head as when I first had penetrative sex with a man, putting their penis into my vagina, sex, done. My first penetrative sexual experience with a man, I was 15. It wasn't a rose petals moment with candlelight, and we just sort of laid down and went for it. The whole experience did not last particularly long. I definitely did not have an orgasm. I knew that I was ready because I didn't feel scared and I felt confident. I would have said losing my virginity was having penetrative sex with someone with a penis. And then as I got a little older, I thought that's ridiculous because I had had sexual experiences with women. My first time having sex with a woman, I was 16. I still thought of myself as very straight. So there was a little voice in the back of my head being like, is this real? Is this real? Am I doing this? But I definitely was doing it. There was no oral sex and a little bit of fingering, both of us trying to kind of feel our way around. As I sort of accepted myself as a bisexual, as a queer woman, I started to realize that those were not kind of silly one-offs or drunken moments, that those were a really important part of my sexual experience. Up until my 20s, looked at myself as a straight girl who occasionally has sex with women. I got a bit older. I decided to try dating women. 7 years ago almost, I met my partner. I'm in a long-term settled relationship with a woman who I love. Women can have sex with women in lots of different ways. Fingering, oral sex, you can do it at the same time in a sort of 69. You can also have strap-on sex, do mutual masturbation. All lesbians definitely do not use strap-ons. Strap-ons are great and can be great, but it is definitely not the only way lesbians have sex. My sex life is amazing. I still happily have sex at least a few times a week. I still regularly masturbate. For a lot of people, act as though lesbian sex isn't the same thing as having real sex. I remember someone once saying to me, we were talking about different kind of sex, and they were like, no, sex, and I was like, oh, I had sex with this person. Like, no, I'm talking about sex. I'm like, what we did was pretty sex. There's this idea that you can't possibly be having sex unless it ends with a penis and a vagina. It's a really great appetizer, but with no main course. That's just not the case. If you're sitting there and you're 15 in sex education and nobody's mentioning the kind of sex that you want to have, you're going to think that something's wrong with you. Or if you're planning to have your first same-sex experience or to experiment, it's totally normal. Communication is so important. You need to know how to protect yourself. You need to know about consent. You don't have to have it all figured out, and it's okay if you get it wrong and make mistakes, or if you think that you're one way and you end up being another. Be experimental, be curious about yourself and what you like, everybody else. I am seen. Are you?